Hello. Today, we're breaking down a really significant development in artificial intelligence called OpenClaw. Our RedHub analysis shows that this isn't just another AI tool. No, it represents a fundamental shift in how AI actually operates, from being a passive assistant to becoming an autonomous actor. So let's dive in. For a long time, the way we've all interacted with AI has been pretty simple. You'd ask it a question, it would give you an answer. You'd give it a command, it would do that one task. The AI was this incredibly powerful, but ultimately passive tool, always just waiting for the next human prompt before it did anything at all. Well, OpenClaw and frameworks like it are turning that entire model on its head. We're shifting from that old ask and answer model, where the AI is basically your assistant, to a new one, delegate and act, where the AI becomes an agent. And this is the most important part to grasp. You're no longer just asking for information. You're delegating an entire outcome to a system that can then act on its own to make it happen. Okay, so what is OpenClaw exactly? To really understand its impact, we need to get past the hype and establish a clear, practical definition. So let's break down what this framework actually does. According to RedHub AI's research, here's the core definition you need to know. OpenClaw is an autonomous AI agent framework that connects language models to real tools. That connection is the secret sauce here. It's what allows the AI to move beyond just generating text and actually start executing real-world work. Now, that word autonomy can sound pretty abstract, maybe a little sci-fi, but in this context, it has a very specific mechanical meaning. We're not talking about consciousness, we're talking about a functional process. So let's take a look under the hood at the engine that drives this new capability. At the heart of a system like OpenClaw is something called the core agent loop. You can think of it as a continuous cycle. First, it interprets the high-level goal you've given it. Second, it chooses the right tools for the job, whether that's accessing a file, sending an email, or running code. And third, it executes that work. This loop just keeps repeating, allowing the agent to operate without constant human input until the larger goal is finally achieved. Now, this is a really important distinction to make. It's easy to think this is just a fancier version of automation, but it's fundamentally different. Traditional automation is deterministic. You program a fixed workflow. If X happens, do Y, and it follows those exact steps every single time. Agent autonomy, on the other hand, is interpretive. You describe the outcome you want, and the agent itself decides the best path to get there, adapting as it goes. And this really captures the change in your role as the user. The whole way you interact with the system shifts. Instead of being a programmer who has to define every little step in a rigid workflow, you become more like a manager who delegates responsibility for an entire outcome to the agent. So this new capability is obviously very powerful, but our RedHub testing shows that it also introduces entirely new categories of risk. When an AI can not only speak but also act, the ways it can fail, well, they change dramatically. Let's take a closer look at these new problems. The first major risk is security exposure. You've probably heard of prompt injection in a normal chatbot. It's an annoyance, right? But in an autonomous agent that's connected to real tools, that same malicious instruction can become a legitimate command. It could trigger some really harmful real-world actions, like deleting important files or sending out unauthorized data. The second risk is financial. Right now, AI pricing is usually based on usage, which makes sense when a human is kicking off every action. But an autonomous agent doesn't sleep. If you give it a vaguely defined goal, that agent could get stuck in an infinite loop of actions, running up API calls and leading to some truly runaway costs. It's a fundamental mismatch between the technology and its business model. So if we pull all this together, what's the key takeaway from the rise of frameworks like OpenClaw? Well, RedHub's analysis points to a pretty clear trajectory for where this technology is headed next. The most crucial point is that OpenClaw is a signal that functional, autonomous AI isn't some future concept. It's here and it can be deployed right now. The next logical step isn't just about building one single smarter agent, but about building networks of specialized agents that can coordinate with each other. And because of that, governance is going to become the most critical product layer. Things like setting permissions, enforcing spending caps, and having reliable kill switches will be absolutely essential for deploying this stuff safely. And that leaves us with a really critical question to think about. As these systems get more and more autonomous, the lines of accountability start to get very blurry. If an AI agent acts on its own and makes a costly or harmful mistake, who's ultimately responsible? This is one of the central challenges we're going to face as we integrate this technology. For a deeper analysis of these topics, you can read the full article on RedHub AI. Thanks for your time.